Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Bad Iron Podcast. It's Sunday, September 15th. I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee on a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. I wish I was tailgating right now before a football game, preferably in Arrowhead, up in Kansas City as they prepare for the Bengals today. Pretty good day in college football yesterday from the gambling standpoint. Great Kentucky-Georgia game. Gave you both of those. Gave you the under and the Kentucky plus 24, and Kentucky almost wins outright. Final score 13-12, so easily went under. Also, Kentucky covered that spread. That's kind of what Stoops does in big games for the most part. Not always, but they mucked it up just like I thought they were going to do. Held that Georgia offense down and almost pulled off a stunner there last night in Lexington, Kentucky. Hopefully, you also had UNLV. We had UNLV plus 10 on Thursday night, I believe, or Friday night, sorry. And they ended up winning outright against Kansas. So that was a big one as well. We had BC against Missouri getting 14.5. BC had the lead for quite a while in that game, hung in there. Baylor took care of Air Force and easily covered the 16 points there. And we also had Tulane against Oklahoma. I thought Tulane had a chance to win, but Oklahoma got out on them early. But, still got a win there. So hopefully y'all had a great Saturday. We're just going to run down some of the games today on Sunday. Again, I said it was going to be underdog Saturday. It was in a lot of ways. There wasn't a lot of upsets, but there definitely was a lot of underdogs covering the spread. So we're going to start in the NFL today and go through these pretty quickly. Like I said, hopefully everyone has a great Sunday watching some of these games. The NFL is great every week. So no matter where you are, you're probably going to get a good game. I'm definitely going to be tuned in to the Bengals and the Chiefs this afternoon. Going to be tailgating in my backyard. Maybe there'll be a few little quick videos of what we like to do when we tailgate at home. But regardless, we're going to start in Dallas. The Saints, who looked amazing in week one, go to Dallas. Dallas also looked amazing in week one. And so, which is the real team? Are the Saints for real? Are the Cowboys for real? I guess the Cowboys are always for real in the regular season, when they're playing in Dallas, but I don't think that really matters. I don't know if they get a great home field advantage there. They're giving 6.5 points. That is a spread I don't like in the NFL. So I'm going to take the Saints to cover. If I can get that at 7, and I might even buy it up a half point to get 7, I'm going to take the Saints there. I think the Saints are going to be able to move the ball and score some points. I think Dak is going to make a mistake or two. He looked perfect last week. Got that big check signed from Mr. Jones last week. So I'm going to take the Saints and the points. This is not about who I think is going to win. It's more about the 7 points if I can get 7 there. The Bucks and the Lions, another great game. I don't know if you remember the playoff game last year. An amazing game. Tampa Bay and Detroit. And who thought they were going to be in the playoffs last year? And they ended up having probably one of the better playoff games early on. The Detroit Lions are giving up 7.5 points. Yes, it's in Detroit. Hard place to play. Tampa has a lot of defensive players out. A lot of their starters are out on defense. And Tampa looked great in week one at home under new offense coordinator Liam Cohen. This is one I'm probably going to stay away from because I don't like that number, but I would always take the points with a good team. I don't care if some of their defensive players are out. Tampa, I think, is going to be able to put some points on the board. Baker Mayfield's better than advertised. I think he has been for a while. Now he's back with his former coach, Liam Cohen. So I think they can put up enough points to stay within the 7.5. I like that hook there. I like that 7.5. I could see this being 31-24, and if you got the Bucks, you still get the win there, despite having some of the defensive players out. Colts and Packers. Colts are favored in Green Bay. You would have never thought that in a million years, but if you told me Malik Willis was going to be the quarterback for the Packers, I could understand why. And I've seen Malik Willis being here in Nashville. I've watched him play for Tennessee. He's just not very good. The Packers, had a tough opening first game. Jordan Love getting hurt, having to play Philly in Brazil. So, it's going to be really hard to know what we're going to get out of Malik Willis. But they've had an extra day or two to get some packages in place. So I'm taking the pack at home, getting 3 points to the Colts. I don't think Anthony Richardson is that good. I do think Jonathan Taylor is really good. But if they can put the clamps down on Jonathan Taylor a little bit and keep him under control, keep Richardson in the pocket, make him throw passes. I think the Packers can cover at home. I like home teams getting points all the time in the NFL. It's moving between 2.5 and 3. So if you can get 3, I really like it. The over under is very low here at 40. So Vegas thinks it's going to be a low scoring game. In that case, I like to take the points, especially with the home team. So give me the Packers at home. I don't love it because it's hard to know what we're going to get out of Malik Willis. I mean, he could literally come out and go for 15 with an interception and 84 yards, but he's probably going to end up running the ball some too. So, you know, let's go with the Packers just because we're getting points in Lambeau. The Jets are playing here in Tennessee. I had Tennessee against Chicago last week, and they jumped out to a big 17 to nothing lead. I had Tennessee plus 5 or 6, and I thought I was going to win that game easily. Then the Bears end up winning the game without scoring an offensive touchdown, winning it 24-7. 24 unanswered points. Unacceptable. We'll see how Tennessee bounces back. Tennessee is getting 4 points at home against the Jets, who, in my opinion, didn't look that great. Aaron Rodgers looked okay. Again, low over under here. I would be tempted to take the under 41, but that's just a really low number. But I like getting 4 points at home against the Jets. I think the Titans are better than they showed in the second half. Will Levis played terribly. He knows his career is probably on the line in the next few games. With that terrible interception he threw last week, the pick six, give me the Titans getting 4 points at home. This is probably going to be one of my plays. The other ones are just ones I'm kind of going through so far, but I am probably going to take the Titans at home plus 4. Like I said, they may lose the game. I do think they're going to keep it close. It is the Jets after all, and they do have some talent. Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think he's as good as he used to be. Titans plus 4. Niners traveling to the Vikings. No McCaffrey, actually on the IR now, so he's going to be out for a few games, but that didn't slow down the Niners last week. They're going into Minnesota. Minnesota, obviously, no more Kirk Cousins there, but they still have Mr. Jefferson on the outside. San Francisco is a 4.5 favorite going into Minnesota. This one is one I would not touch because it's hard to know what you're going to get out of Minnesota on a week-to-week basis. But I do think you kind of know what you get from the 49ers. So if I was leaning one, I hate taking road favorites. This is one where I think San Francisco could go in there and just shut them down and roll and win by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to say that if you like the 49ers, this is probably the way I would go on this one. But just historically, I don't like betting home. I don't like betting road favorites in the NFL, especially by 4.5 points. But I think this is one where the Niners could go in there and really destroy the Vikings. We got the Seahawks going to the Patriots. I'm not really even going to talk about this one. Don't know much about either of these teams. Seahawks favored by 3, going across the U.S. all the way to New England. New England, surprising win against the Bengals. Who knows what the Bengals are, but they did get that win. They are at home. Seattle's traveling. I would probably lean, again, Patriots getting 3 points at home. I'd probably lean Patriots here just because they're getting 3 points at home. I don't think they are that bad of a team. If the Bengals are for real, then maybe the Patriots are going to be on the cusp of making the playoffs this year. So might lean on the Patriots on that one. Giants at the Commanders. These are 2 horrible teams. Giants going to Washington. Washington's a 1-point favorite at home. You got to take the Commanders here. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be good. We all know what the Giants are and Daniel Jones. So give me the Commanders only giving 1 point at home against the Giants. I do like this one quite a bit because I think the Giants are a dumpster fire and they've been trying to rebuild, I think, for 3 years, but you can't rebuild around Daniel Jones. So they got to figure that one out. The new coached Chargers, who looked pretty good on defense under Harbaugh last week against the Raiders, are going to Carolina and giving Carolina 5 points. Again, a road favorite by 5 points, traveling across the U.S. I love Harbaugh. The over-under here is 39, which means Vegas thinks that the Chargers are going to hold the Panthers down to almost nothing. Give me the Panthers here plus 5. I do think the Chargers are a good team, and Abear is a good quarterback, and Harbaugh is going to make a difference there. But it's game 2, maybe a little overreaction to the Chargers' first game. And I think Panthers get at least keep the game close within 5. at home against the Chargers. Browns, who disappointed me last week against the Cowboys. Browns are going to the Jaguars. I love the Jaguars this whole season. They had a tough game at Miami. They had them on the ropes, had them down in the second half, and had a chance to win that game. Jaguars are giving 3 points to the Browns. I think the Jaguars cover this spread. If you can get 2.5, I'd really jump on it. I think the Jaguars are for real. They're a surprise team. The Browns, I don't know what happened to them last week. This may be a regression year for the Browns, unfortunately. Sorry, Scott and Amy. I can't wait to go and watch the Chiefs play the Browns later this year, but this is a tough spot for the Browns. They needed to get that one last week at home against Dallas, and they really just pooped the bed. So I'm going to take the Jags. And if I can get -2, definitely going to take the Jags -2.5. I'll even do it at -3. Raiders are going to the Ravens. I'm not going to touch this one. The Ravens, obviously, I had the Chiefs against the Ravens last week, but they had every chance to win that game. I think the Ravens roll. It's an 8-point spread. I hate 8-point spreads, but the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are great during the regular season, at home especially. I think they destroy the Raiders today. It's -8. I think Baltimore wins by at least 2 touchdowns here. Give me the Ravens -8. Rams and Cardinals. I gave you all the Cardinals last week who almost pulled the upset. That's kind of what they do. This spread actually is off. I think there must be something going on with an injury that somebody doesn't know about. So there's no spread here, but I like the Rams in this game to win the game. So whatever spread you might get, I think the Rams go in and beat the Cardinals, although I do think the Cardinals are a lot better this year. If you can get a line. Right now, there's no line out there because of injury questions. Steelers going to the Broncos. I gave you the Steelers last week too. The Steelers won outright, 18-10, even though they were underdogs. That's the Tomlin way. Be the underdog. This week they're the favorite, going to Denver. They're favored by 2.5. Give me Denver. Denver played surprisingly well in Seattle last week with Bo Nix. Was a one-score game, had the lead at halftime. The Denver defense is really good. This over-under is 36. Vegas thinks it's going to be a 16-13 game probably or something like that. If that's the case, give me a home team getting the points. I want the Broncos here, and I think the Broncos might win this outright. Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, gets his first win. That's my prediction. Bengals at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 6. I gave you the Chiefs last week. I think it was a 3 or 2.5 point favorite. I don't like the Chiefs when they're 6-point favorites, even at home. But I do think the Bengals are in a little bit of shambles. Burrow is 3-1 against the spread against Mahomes, which is pretty impressive. Nobody else has that good of a record against him against the spread. So I do think the Bengals have a chance to keep it close, but I'm not going to touch the game. I might actually take the under 48 because I think the Chiefs still have a pretty good defense, and I think the Bengals have a pretty good defense. That sounds weird to say under 48, but that's the way I would lean. I think it's a 24-21 type of game, 24-17 type of game. So, I don't like the 6-point spread. If it goes to 7, I'm probably going to take the Bengals because the Chiefs historically do not blow teams out under Andy Reid. They like to get ahead, and he likes to kind of control the game when ahead. So, look for that early. Maybe it's an in-game bet if the Chiefs get up early, but I don't love this spread at 6. If it's 7, like I said, I probably would take the Bengals, but I don't like to bet against my Chiefs. And then Sunday night, tonight we got a pretty good game with the Bears going against the Texans. The Bears looked amazing on defense in the first week, but they did not look good on offense. I'm telling you, they did not put a point on the board. Did not put a touchdown on the board against the Titans. Not one. And the Titans are not necessarily heralded for a great defense. Now they got to go to Houston. Houston's a lot of people sleeper pick for the Super Bowl this year. Well, sorry, people, that's not a sleeper pick anymore. They were great last year. Last year was the year to get them. They're 6.5 point favorites at home against the Bears. I love this. I love this one. I think the Texans win pretty easily. Caleb Williams on the road for the first time in the NFL. He did not look great last week. I do think he's going to be great. If the Bears don't score an offensive touchdown this week, it's going to be a long day for its Chicago fans. Sorry, Matt Jones. We'll come back and talk about the Monday night game. It's not that exciting of a game, the Falcons at the Eagles. But hopefully you get a few good picks in there. There's not really a whole lot of games I love this week in the NFL. I loved a bunch yesterday. But we'll be back again and better than ever with Fonte next week, I hope, and more stuff to come from the Bad Iron Podcast. Hopefully everybody has a great Sunday.